Before Manchester City have even kicked off their first competitive Premier League match of the new season, Erling Haaland has already made headlines once again. And this time, it has nothing to do with a goal, a viral moment, or a celebrity crossover. Instead, the numbers themselves are telling the story. With Haaland officially becoming the most expensive player in Fantasy Premier League history, while simultaneously sitting as the overwhelming betting favorite to claim yet another Golden Boot. In this video, we are going to walk through exactly what these numbers mean, break down why they matter heading into this new season, and explore why every single signal, from bookmakers to fantasy football pricing algorithms, is pointing toward the exact same conclusion that Haaland just became even more dangerous than he already was. So let us get into it. To understand why these numbers carry such significance, you have to remember exactly what Haaland is coming off of. He just finished a season that saw him claim his third Premier League Golden Boot in 4 campaigns, scoring 27 goals and adding 8 assists across 35 appearances, all while somehow still finding time to lead Norway to their first World Cup appearance in 28 years over the summer. That combination of sustained domestic dominance and a genuinely historic international tournament run has left analysts, bookmakers, and fantasy football pricing algorithms all reaching remarkably similar conclusions about what to expect from him this season. Before we get into the specific numbers behind this story, take a second to hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed. Because we are covering every angle of Haaland's approach to the new season as it continues to unfold. It only takes a second, and it genuinely helps the channel. Alright, let us get into it. The clearest evidence of just how dangerous Haaland is now considered comes directly from Fantasy Premier League itself. Ahead of the 2026-27 season, the game officially priced him at £15.5 million, making him the single most expensive player in the entire history of the format. That figure breaks his own previous record of £15 million, set back during the 2024-25 season, and surpasses Mohamed Salah's own previous mark of £14.5 million from last season, which had stood as the third highest price ever recorded. With managers working from a total budget of £100 million, selecting Haaland alone now leaves only £84.5 million remaining to fill out the other 14 roster spots, a genuinely significant strategic consideration for millions of fantasy managers around the world. What makes this latest price hike particularly notable is that it continues a pattern Haaland has established almost every single season since entering the Premier League. He now appears 4 separate times among the 9 most expensive players in Fantasy Premier League history. Having been priced at £14 million at the start of both the 2023-24 and 2025-26 seasons, before climbing to £15 million for 2024-25, and now reaching this new peak of £15.5 million heading into the upcoming campaign, that consistency of ranking among the game's most valuable assets year after year reflects just how reliably dominant his output has remained. Regardless of shifting circumstances at Manchester City or changes elsewhere across the league, part of what is driving this particular price increase comes down to a significant shift elsewhere in the market. With Mohamed Salah's departure from the Premier League this summer, Haaland now finds himself without a direct rival, occupying that same premium price bracket, effectively concentrating more of the game's overall value into his own valuation. Analysts covering the fantasy football landscape have specifically noted that this absence of competition at the very top of the market has pushed his price even higher than his raw output alone might have justified, reinforcing his singular status at the summit of the game heading into this new season. Of course, none of this pricing would matter if the underlying production did not support it. Last season alone, Haaland finished as the highest point scorer in the entire fantasy format, racking up 239 total points, narrowly ahead of Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes. He was also both the most owned and the most captained player in any given game week throughout that entire campaign, meaning millions of fantasy managers were not just spectating his dominance, they were actively building their own strategies around him. That level of sustained, verifiable output is exactly why fantasy pricing algorithms and human analysts alike continue treating him as a can't-miss selection, despite the increasingly steep cost of adding him to a squad. This growing sense of danger extends well beyond fantasy football pricing and directly into the traditional betting markets as well. Bookmakers across the industry have installed Haaland as the clear, overwhelming favourite to win the actual Premier League Golden Boot once again this season, with odds hovering around 4 to 6 with some sportsbooks and reaching as low as -125 with others. Sophisticated statistical models, including Squawka's own predictive system, independently arrive at nearly identical conclusions, projecting Haaland to finish the season with somewhere around 21 goals and giving him roughly a 37.5% probability of claiming the award outright, comfortably ahead of any other individual contender in the league. What makes this level of continued confidence particularly interesting is the context surrounding it. Manchester City entered this season under an entirely new manager, with Enzo Maresca replacing Pep Guardiola after a decade defined by sustained success. Normally, that kind of significant managerial transition might introduce genuine uncertainty regarding a star player's individual output, especially following a somewhat underwhelming Community Shield performance where City fell 3-0 to Arsenal and Haaland himself struggled to make a real impact. Yet neither the betting markets nor the fantasy pricing algorithms have shown any real hesitation, suggesting that regardless of tactical adjustments under a new manager, Haaland's individual scoring threat remains essentially unaffected. It helps to put Haaland's overall body of work into proper historical context as well. His 36-goal debut Premier League season broke a scoring record that had stood since the mid-1990s, when Andy Cole and Alan Shearer had each managed 34 goals during a longer 42-match campaign. A fourth Golden Boot this season would place him alongside legendary multiple-time winners like Alan Shearer and Thierry Henry, though achieving that feat within just his fifth total season in England would represent an entirely unprecedented pace by any historical standard within the competition. For American audiences who spent this past summer falling in love with Haaland during his record-breaking World Cup debut, these numbers offer a genuinely exciting reason to stay engaged with his club career throughout the new Premier League season. Many casual fans who had never previously followed fantasy football or Premier League betting markets at all suddenly have an easy, quantifiable way to track just how dominant he continues to be. Whether that means watching his Golden Boot odds, following his fantasy football price, or simply tracking his weekly goal tally as the new season unfolds. Stepping back from the specific numbers themselves, this entire story reflects something significant about where Haaland currently sits within the sport. Very few players manage to combine sustained on-field dominance with this level of quantifiable, cross-platform recognition, showing up simultaneously as the betting favorite, the fantasy football price record holder, and the most talked-about breakout star of this past summer's World Cup. That combination of factors is exactly why so many different corners of football analysis, human and algorithmic alike, keep arriving at the exact same conclusion about him heading into this new campaign. At the end of the day, whether you are looking at bookmaker odds, predictive statistical models, or simply the record-breaking price tag Fantasy Premier League itself has now attached to his name, every available signal points toward the exact same reality. Haaland enters this new season more dangerous than ever before. Between his historic scoring pace, his continued market dominance, and a summer that turned him into a genuine global phenomenon, it is easy to understand why so few people are willing to bet against him continuing to rewrite the record books. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you are subscribed so you catch our next video the moment this season's Golden Boot race truly gets underway. Because based on everything the numbers are already telling us, this could be his most dangerous season yet.